I hate Valentine's Day. I do. Valentine's Day is a crappy holiday, bastardizing a saint's holy day to mark it on the concept of love.
Listen, Morty, I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage.
Flowers, cards, chocolate. Okay, that last one's alright. But it leaves us single people in the dust, making us feel more unworthy than we already feel. Heck, even for some couples it still sucks, with some guys having to work hard to impress their significant other in order to make them feel better. You know, on that one day of the year compared to the others. Despite that, single people just hate seeing all those happy couples. But what if you felt a murderous rage to kill those couples? Okay, not that far for most of us, but for one boy it's all he thinks about when he sees those who are in love. Apollo's song is about that boy. Created by Osamu Tezuka, Apollo's song talks about a boy who goes through the anger and heartbreak of love. Is it any good? Well, prepare to get your hearts broken and let's find out. So, what's the plot? Well, we meet Shogo Chikaishi, a young man who is sent to a mental hospital after it is revealed that he has killed a number of animals.
My God, you shoot small animals for fun? That's the first indicator of a serial killer, you freak.
After some shock therapy, Shogo passes out and comes across a statue. The statue speaks to Shogo, but he's unimpressed until he sees a vision of his mother. We then find out that Shogo never knew his father and lived with a neglectful single mother who happened to be a prostitute who barely showed any affection towards Shogo. One day, after seeing his mother in bed with another man, Shogo is beaten, and that's when he resents his mother and anything that has to do with love. So anytime he sees living creatures showing affection, he kills them. Because of this, Shogo must go through a series of lives where he finds love and only to lose it at the end. So Shogo ends up in 3 lives, one where he's a German soldier during World War II where he must transfer Jewish prisoners and falls in love with a Jewish girl named Elise. Another one is about him being stranded on an island with a female photographer named Naomi where they must live alongside the animals that inhabit the island, and the last one takes place in the future, where most of humanity is replaced by androids called Synthians, where Shogo must teach the queen of the Synthians about love. Also, they have no genitals.
Good grief, he's naked!
So is calling them dickless an insult or a compliment to them? Anyway, all of these stories end in tragedy for Shogo, and Shogo then escapes from the hospital and comes across a woman who looks exactly like the women in the statue in his visions. The woman's name is Hiromi, and she decides to train Shogo to be a marathon runner, but is harassed by her ex-fiancé. Over time, Shogo and Hiromi develop feelings for one another. However, tragedy soon strikes the two, and Shogo must learn the true meaning of love. So, what do I think? Well, the story is actually pretty good. We get to see the development of Shogo from hating all things with affection to learning what it means to love, but also showing the good and the bad of love as well, the feelings of goodness to the pain of heartbreak. The visions where Shogo is in different situations are also good as well. Each of them has the right amount of time to develop the story further and show the human emotion of love, whether it's jealousy, protectiveness, regret, anger, sympathy, it's there. It even shows off the different degrees of love as well. For example, despite Shogo's mother being an abusive bitch, she somewhat cares for her son, whether it's giving him money to leave the city when he's on the run, or being concerned for him when he's almost ran over by a car. Shogo is someone you would hate at first, but when you hear his backstory, you understand why he does it and why he pushes the world away from him. And like I said earlier, the character does develop further from being one who hates love to actually embracing it. Hiromi comes off as the kind motherly figure that Shogo never had and showed him how love should be. Though this can be a bit shocking in some areas, we'll get to that in a moment. The doctor at the asylum is my favorite character of the story. It would be easy to write him off as this Nurse Ratched kind of character, but he is generally a good guy who cares for his patients, and we get to know a bit about his backstory. He couldn't marry the woman he loved because her parents would not allow it, he expresses regrets on those he killed during World War II, and he really wants to see Shogo get better. I also like Hiromi's ex-fiancé. Yes, he is a total bastard, but that's the point. He's supposed to show the ugliness of love. The guy who all the girls want, but in the end he cheats on them and might as well become the jealous ex-boyfriend. I love the art in this story. This was done by the legendary Osamu Tezuka, who you may know as the creator of Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion. This came out in 1970. This was during the beginning of his dark period, where his art style began to mature and his storytelling became more dark. Stories such as Ayako, Alabaster, The Book of Human Insects, Barbara, MW, and Message to Adolf were coming out during the 70s and 80s, and this was the time period where I really loved his art. This is where Tezuka's style began to flourish. Gone are the rubber hose looking characters of the 1950s and 60s to the realistic yet simplistic style that I love. You can see the expressions, the emotions, there's more shading, it's a little bit dark and gritty. and I kinda enjoyed that part. Now, what may be the elephant in the room is the relationship between Shogo and Hiromi, which can be a bit creepy. While not stated, Hiromi is implied to be around her early to mid 20s, while Shogo is implied to be around 15-16 years old. And while something like this is nothing new to manga and anime, with Japan's age of consent laws being different from most of the world, this may turn off some readers. Also, you may ask, why is the story named Apollo's Song? Well, it's based around the Greek tragedy of Apollo and Daphne. Daphne was the most beautiful maiden across the land, and Apollo wanted her. However, Daphne wanted nothing to do with him. Apollo began to pursue her, Daphne pleading with her father, Ladon, the river god, to save her. Ladon turns Daphne into a laurel tree and Apollo cries.
Well, that happened.
Overall, I say check out Apollo's Song. It's a nice little read on Valentine's Day for those who are bitter about love.
Love stings.
Love stings.